Tyler Perry at this point, just settle with this man because you was out here living foul. Now, Tyler Perry's accuser sits down with ABC News and he goes over the account of what his interactions with Tyler Perry and all of the allegations behind the lawsuit.
Also alleges that in January of 2020, there was an escalation from the text messages to Tyler Perry's behavior becoming physical. Can you explain that first alleged incident?
Yes, we were over his house, we're having some drinks in his guest house, and it was late at night, and he has a guest quarters, and said that you can sleep there instead of not driving. His house is far from Atlanta and where I was living, and I got into bed, and I noticed that he climbed into bed with me as well, and started rubbing my leg, and I jumped up out of bed, and he said, turn around so I can look at you, and just comment on how I looked, and then he got up and left. So I thought after that instance, it was pretty clear that I was not interested in that type of a relationship.
Now, as a reminder, Derek Dixon was a star of Tyler Perry's series called The Oval, which he had premiered on 84 episodes. Dixon goes on to say in this interview that Tyler Perry had, in one scene on the show, had his character being shot. And there was speculation as to whether that character was going to live or die. And he felt as though his relationship with Tyler Perry, basically letting Tyler Perry do the things he was doing, all predicated on whether he was going to have a job or not. Now, after this full incident in September of 2024, he actually went to the EEOC because he felt as though his character dying off in the show was Tyler Perry retaliating against him. Now, he also states in another snippet of the interview I'm getting ready to play how he had to subsequently lock himself in the bathroom to stop Tyler Perry from allegedly trying to make an advance on him.
Tyler Perry's home in Atlanta, and it ends up with you locking yourself in a bathroom.
Mm-hmm. We started out having drinks in the living room like we have done before, and it got to a point in the night where we were both kind of feeling drunk, and I remember we were walking back to the guest area where I stayed before, and there was this health monitor scale on the way, and I was like, what is that? And he said, well, you have to be in underwear to measure whatever, so you should do it. He reached down and pulled my underwear down and grabbed my ass, and I tried to stop him and pull back my underwear up, and he kind of grabbed my arms and said, no, it's okay, just go with it.
Yeah, you need to go ahead and settle with this man because these allegations are pretty gross and egregious.
Too much media.
Welcome to Too Much Media.
Too much media.
Too much.
Too much media.
Okay, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. If you're returning, shout out to you. Make sure you guys are doing all the YouTube stuff, interacting with the channel, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it. So today, we're talking about Tyler Perry of the Tyler Perry Studios apparently is getting sued for $260 million off of accusations from one of the actors of his long-standing show, The Oval, is accusing him of sexual assault and sexual misconduct in a professional setting, and as well as harassment. So apparently what this man is accusing Tyler Perry of is like improper text messages. He also has evidence. Well, he doesn't have actual evidence. All of this is alleged because the lawsuit has not been taken to court yet, but the case has been filed, and the gentleman has been interviewed by ABC News and is now making his rounds in the media to try to get his story out there before taking Tyler Perry to court and everything. But what he has as his apparent evidence, obviously we don't have all of the discovery and some of the things are going to be saved for court, but what he has as evidence is text messages with Tyler Perry, where, for example, one of them is where Tyler Perry sends him a photo of him on a jet ski, and he says, oh wow, that's cool. And then Tyler Perry says, cool, what are you talking about? Don't you see this stud? And then he's like, oh yeah, yeah, of course I see this stud, haha, LOL, this, that, and third, just basically trying to de-escalate the situation. He also has anecdotes where he speaks of going to Tyler Perry's house and being offered to sleep in the guest room due to them drinking during the night and his house being far away. And while he's in the guest room bed, Tyler Perry tries to make his way into the bed with him, until which he denies his advances. Another incident when he was at Tyler Perry's house and they were drinking, he sees some sort of like machine that's like a health machine or a scale of some sort, and Tyler Perry offers him to use it and pulls his pants down and grabs his butt, to which he denies him, pulls his pants back up, and locks himself in the guest room bathroom. So this is just some of the incidents he's used to kind of explain his situation as to why he's suing Tyler Perry, as well as to his loss in compensation after being kicked off of Tyler Perry's show, as well as he is not only an actor but a screenwriter, and therefore he wrote his own screenplay, to which Tyler Perry bought the rights to, in discussion with him had promised getting the show into action and actually turning the screenplay into a show. Until which, after he was kicked off of his show, also never got the show that he had written off of the ground. And now that Tyler Perry bought the rights to it, he can't even shop it around to see if another studio would potentially get it into action. So because of this, he's pursuing the compensation of $260 million, as well as he says that he wants to deter Tyler Perry from continuing this type of behavior and potentially causing harm to other actors and people under his realm, who's under him, who he would potentially do this to again. He wants to dissuade Tyler Perry, and he says he doesn't really know how to dissuade a billionaire with this many resources of how to do this without having a high price such as $260 million. Now, the Breakfast Club recently discussed this, where they shared, all the news and everything, and all of them were saying that they don't believe him and all these kind of stuff. So there's two sides. Some people do believe. Most people in the public media are saying that they don't believe him just because, I don't know why they're saying they don't believe him. I guess they're saying this is not enough evidence. And then also they're saying that it's unfair to Tyler Perry for this man to be able to be on media outlets and be speaking on the case before it has gone to trial and potentially dissuading potential jury members who would might be able to side on Tyler Perry's side, but now because of media glossing over the picture and already telling some of the story with his side more taken into account, is potentially ruining Tyler Perry's case, which that is one part that they mentioned on the Breakfast Club that I completely do agree with, that it is unfair for him to be allowed to go to media outlets and do interviews when Tyler Perry himself, as the defendant, cannot do interviews and do public media. Especially his lawyers are definitely going to not encourage him to do that, and he's the one with the most on the line and the more to lose. So it's not going to look good for him to be running around the media screaming and shouting about how he didn't do this and he's innocent and this, that, and the third. So I do agree with that aspect of things until the case is done and they've actually gone to court and the jury has decided on everything based on the actual evidence that is put into discovery. He shouldn't be allowed to do media, and afterwards, regardless of if he wins or loses, then he should be allowed to do media and kind of claim his case publicly and kind of use the public court of opinion. But however, based off what I'm hearing, I personally do think that this man's accusations are true. For one thing, the thing about sexual assault and cases like this where you're being harassed and you're being manipulated into giving away sexual favors for financial means and advances, is this is a really embarrassing thing to have to go into public and to claim that's being done to you. This is a really shameful and very hard thing to have to claim publicly. I don't think anyone who decides to do things like this goes about it lightly. And we all know that our court systems and the judicial court has failed sexual assault victims and overall victims of abuse in any type of realm, domestic, sexual, harassment, all those types of abuses. Our court system does not have a proper system held up to be able to help these type of defendants. So at the end of the day, a lot of the times your options of going into a civil route in order to seek justice, especially with somebody as high profile and with as many sources and resources as someone like Tyler Perry, who's a literal billionaire, is very limited and dwindled. So it's okay, so you guys are saying you don't believe him and that this is just a money grab because he's going for $260 million. But at the end of the day, what are his options as far as seeking justice? Because we all know our criminal system is very, very unfair to the victims. It doesn't have resources that are going to be able to help a victim seek the proper amount of justice. Most cases of sexual assault brought into the criminal system is usually thrown away as to saying that there's not enough evidence. At the end of the day, most times with sexual assault, it's a he say, she say. And if we look at the percentages of people who have been sexually assaulted, of whether or not they're lying or telling the truth, most the percentage is highly on the side of the victim, of saying that the victim is telling the truth. Because who would want to lie about that? Who would want to come out and say that somebody has assaulted them? It's actually so traumatizing for something like that to happen to you, and for you to have to claim that to the public and have to now face public opinion about something that was actually like mentally traumatizing and harmful to you. Not only is this a man having to go through like a mental hardship and like a traumatizing experience of the actual assault, but now he also has to go through financial like abuse. Like, so not only is he being physically abused, but he's being financially abused, because this man is his boss. The power structure between him and Tyler Perry, in my opinion, there shouldn't even be any evidence that there's a slight potential chance that Tyler Perry has done anything to be in misconduct with somebody who works for him. The fact that there's even a slight bit of text message threads where Tyler Perry is clearly throwing sexual advances at this man shows that he was abusing his power in one way or another. So if he thinks it's okay to abuse his power, maybe not even to the whole point where we have evidence that he did sexual assault, why is it so hard to believe that he pushed it even further than that and continued to abuse his power to the point where he did it in a physical level? He clearly didn't see a problem with his abusing his power through text messages. Why is it so hard to believe that he wouldn't take it a step farther? I feel like it's easier to believe that Tyler Perry took it a step farther and did actual abuse to this man than it is to believe that he only stopped at the text messages. He did a couple of text messages and boom, that was it. He knew that after that stopped. Like, come on now. This man is like, literally, when you get to the point where you are a billionaire, do you know what type of selfish and crazy abuse type of person you have to be to even get to that realm of financial power in this day and age, in this economy? They don't let just anybody become a billionaire. You have to be slightly psychopathic to get to these levels of financial success. Another thing is, you have to be kind of like, once you get to these levels of financial success, how often are you hearing the people around you say no? You're not used to hearing no. To even get to those levels of financial success, you have to be the type of person who doesn't take no for the answer. Every time you hear a no, you just find a new way to get what you want. So you don't think that Tyler Perry is so used to hearing no as just an option that he would hear a man tell him no, he doesn't want any type of sexual relationship with him and still keep pursuing him? He even has in the text message thread proof of Tyler Perry saying things like, oh, how's the sessions with your therapy going? Have you gotten to a place where you can have shameless sex? What kind of question is that from a boss to a coworker, like to one of his workers? Wouldn't it be insane if your boss texted you right now asking you about your medical records and your medical information of what's going on with you in therapy, let alone the fact that he's asking you about shameless sex in your therapy sessions? That's fucking weird, regardless of if he touches you or not. And so it's not even crazy to think that he would take it further and try to touch this man. And I'm sure if there's looking for evidence of this man being at his house and having alcohol with him, there's proof of that for sure, because someone like Tyler Perry, his house is fully probably video recorded, people entering, exiting, and logs with security and things like that of that nature. So it's like, okay, you're not only having sexual text messages threads where you're asking inappropriate questions and making inappropriate advances, but you're also having this man stay at your house late at night and offering him drugs as in alcohol. Like, that's weird as shit. You're trying to put him in a vulnerable position so there's a more likely chance that you can have your way with him. That's weird as shit. If none of the rest of it is true, based off the slight information that we have that is 100% accurate, I feel like is enough for at least for this man to sue for 100 million, if not 260. If all the rest is true, I feel like 260 million is even too low. Tyler Perry should be punished if any of this is true. This is a great negligence of power, and this is a great abuse of power. How could you do that to somebody? That's actually so fucked up. And then also, we also have another piece of evidence of the fact that the character on his show was shot 4 times around one of the times where Tyler Perry made sexual advances of him. So if you're telling me that his presence on the show was not directly correlated to whether or not he accepted the sexual advances, why is it that around the time he said no to a sexual advance, he was then shot on the show and potentially killed off until he was threatened again of like, okay, we're gonna permanently kill him off if you don't agree to what I'm asking, or we can bring him back if you start, playing with the program. You better get with the program or else you're gonna get killed off the show. It's like, if it were true that his sexual advances were not directly correlated to whether or not your sexual advances are not directly correlated to whether or not he gets the position on your show and a platform within your department and your studios, it's like, wouldn't you make sure that right after those sexual advances that nothing happens to his character, so he understands that, hey, no, I know I'm pursuing you like in a romantic sense, but it has nothing to do with your work. I'm going to make sure that your character is all set and good to go, so you don't think that that is what is going on here. I feel like personally, if I was genuinely trying to make sure that somebody knew that that our relationship in a personal sense had nothing to do with our relationship in a work sense, wouldn't you, and you are literally the boss, you are directly can say yes or no to whether or not his character remains on the show, wouldn't you ensure that his character was at least good for quite some time after, even if the natural progression of the show needs his character to be killed off, but directly after him saying no to your sexual pursuits is then when his character gets shot for time? That's very suspicious. That's very weird. And then you promise to put his show into action, and then after that, all of a sudden, you not only kick him off, but you have already bought the rights, and now you're not using his show. It's like all of these things. It's like a common thread where too many things have happened between him and this gentleman, where you can deny that Tyler Perry hasn't abused some sort of power. And I feel like this is eerily similar to the situation with Shannon Sharp and that young lady. It's like these men get to the point where they have enough money that they think they're on top of the world, and that people's bodies are just objects to them, that they can do whatever they want to people, and that there's nothing they can do because they have enough power and clout that these people will just hush because of the sheer embarrassment of having to publicly admit that you put yourself in a vulnerable position with somebody in a more powerful position than you, and they're abusing you and being predators. They're using your vulnerability to prey on you and to use you as an object. Like, this is so fucking weird. I feel like Tyler Perry knows exactly the type of position he's in and the exact type of level of power he has over everybody who works under him in these studios. And if you were really not a predator, you would do everything in your power to make sure nobody feels like they're in a threat towards you. Like, there wouldn't even be evidence that there's slight weird text messages with you and this person. There wouldn't be slight evidence of you killing off his character, you buying rights to his show, you doing that. It seems like in every sense of this man's life, Tyler Perry tried to take control over it. He even says in his interview that Tyler Perry also bought him a car soon after he started working for him. That Tyler Perry saw his Jeep and was like, oh no, you can't be riding in this, and bought him a new car. Does that now sound like somebody who's trying to take over your life in every sense of the world, in every sense of your like whole existence? So then that way you're more likely to never say no to them, because it seems like very scary to say no to someone who bought you a car, is in control of all your finances, is in control of the future of your career, is in control of your your living situation, is in control of your reputation, is in control of like how you're perceived in your between you and your peers. Like every single sense of this man's life, Tyler Perry has a hand in it. Is that not weird for like your boss to have that much hands in your life, like that many different like threads towards you? Wouldn't your boss just have only one thread to you, which is working for him, not also texting you weird stuff, staying at his house and drinking with him, buying you cars, buying rights to your shows, controlling whether or not you live or die in your role as on the show, owning the studio at the show that you work at, like owning the studio, like that's insane. it would be one thing if Tyler Perry was just a director or a writer on the show, and it's like the man can just go to another director or writer and try to get a gig somewhere else. But it's like you own the whole studio. Literally, all of Atlanta media is damn near controlled by Tyler Perry. Like, what are we talking about right now? This man is clearly has been abusing his power against this man, and who knows if there's other victims. He's right. He should sue for $260 million. Maybe this will for one deter Tyler Perry, but also give courage to another victim out there who might have had a similar thing happen to him with Tyler Perry. And I'm pretty sure I've heard of other incidents of people going online and claiming certain things about Tyler Perry. So it's kind of like, okay, you have evidence of other people online claiming that Tyler Perry has also abused his power with them, who are actors, and those actors are black actors. I feel like this man is only getting as much attention as he is, which the Breakfast Club mentioned this as well, that it's because he's a white man. And I feel like that is true. It's probably true that the man is getting as much play, and he's able to sue for as much, and he's getting like all this media attention because he's a white man. But I don't feel like that just takes away everything, and it means that Tyler Perry is innocent. I think Tyler Perry is still guilty, but this man is the like loudest victim. It's like the whole Rosa Parks case, where it's like Rosa Parks wasn't technically the first person to get on the bus and be like, I'm not going to the back, but there was another young lady, but she was pregnant and a teen mom, and they didn't want to use her as the face of the movement. So then they told Rosa Parks to get on the bus and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's the same thing. It's like because those other actors were black and they were men and stuff like that, it was like, no, we can't use these ones. But since now a handsome young white man is accusing Tyler Perry, now they're like, you could be the face of the movement, and they're giving him the media coverage that all the other victims have never gotten. And also, it's like, Tyler Perry, there's too many threads of you being a weirdo too. It's like, remember that Boondocks episodes that they made about Tyler Perry, where they claimed the same thing, that Tyler Perry was using his Christian media conglomerate to kind of lure men in to do a bait and switch and try to use them for sexual advances. And what happened to that episode of the Boondocks? Tyler Perry and his team got that shit wiped off the face of the planet, so that way no one could see that this was going on. So it's kind of like, bro, it's too much threads to Tyler Perry potentially being a predator that I cannot believe that this is true. Like, this is a $1 billion man. Why would we not believe that he is potentially a crazy predator? Like, come on now. You cannot get to those financial states in this economy. Like, look at how everybody is struggling. We're in a recession. Tyler Perry is a billionaire. These type of people are wicked. Like, what? How are we going to really sit around here? And I feel like it's crazy for the Breakfast Clubs to sit around and really, like, kind of try to give Tyler Perry some sort of like grace and like be like, oh no, I don't believe it, this, that, and the third. Clearly Tyler Perry's people or his team may be paying the Breakfast Club or something like that, because no one in their right mind can tell me that these people behind the scenes truly and 100% believe that Tyler Perry is innocent in this case. Like, no, I don't believe it. It's too much evidence going towards the fact that Tyler Perry may or may not be, whether or not $260 million is a fair price. This man should get some sort of financial compensation. Why are you killing him off his show after you guys have had some sort of weird text thread going on? And this is why I believe in telling people no as often as possible, because it's like, you need to tell people no so you can see what the truth is, what the real, like how they really feel about you. When you tell somebody no and you see how they act afterwards, that's how you're going to really know whether or not they're a predator or not. Because a lot of times, not till after you say no, you can really see the truth behind what people's intentions are for you. Because this is fucking weird as shit. It's like, okay, so then why is it that after I said no is when I got kicked off the show? Before that, you were all for me. You were talking about you want my career to go far. You were helping that all these things are happening. Why is it all of a sudden now I'm cut off from the face of the earth, and now I don't have any position on the show. My show that you said you were going to put into action is not being put into action. All of these stuff that were my career seemed like it was on the upward trajectory. I was about to go off. I was about to be out into the stratosphere based off all of your promises and all of your things are all of a sudden wiped from the face of the earth the minute I tell you no. That's why it's good to tell people no so you can really see what's going on underneath the surface. It's like, okay, but like you had all of these promises before. If it wasn't directly correlated to your thoughts that we were going to have a sexual relationship, why is it that once I said no, now all of a sudden all of these things are going away? If it was honest that, oh, you still saw a future for me in all of these realms and stuff like that, but you also wanted a sexual relationship, once I said no to a sexual relationship, that should have had no effect on my actual career. So he 100% does need financial compensation, and so do all the other black male victims who have been under the hands of Tyler Perry and his creepy ways. I don't know. We're going to see how this case moves on. I'm probably going to come back once they finish everything in court and stuff like that, but I do believe that Tyler Perry is a predator and a creep.
Too much media.
Welcome to Too Much Media.
Tune in to Too Much
Have fun.
Too much media.